Hey guys, welcome back to the recap. So this week on Raw, what we had Dominic Mysterio. Yes, Rey Mysterio's son came out, signed a contract, signed two contracts actually. He signed a contract to become an official WWE superstar, and also Dominic signed a contract to face Seth Rollins at SummerSlam because Seth Rollins, you know, with the whole feud with Rey Mysterio, and he supposedly took Rey Mysterio's eye out or all this other stuff. And then later on in the night, like actually right after the contract signing, and I believe their match is going to be like a no DQ or something like that at SummerSlam because Seth Rollins talked about how he wanted no excuses from Mysterio when he beats him. So he said you can bring a kendo stick, chair, whatever you want. So I think it's a DQ match. I have to check into that. Also, right after that, Seth Rollins had a match with somebody who's friends with the Mysterios, which is Humberto. And Seth Rollins won that match with pretty cool combination. Of course, you know, you got Buddy Murphy interfering in the match and all that other stuff. But Seth Rollins beat Humberto. And then he went after Dominic Mysterio, who was ringside. And him and Buddy Murphy, when I tell you, they beat the mess out of Dominic. Like, they took multiple kendo sticks. I got a kendo stick right here in the background. This big wooden thing right here. And the way kendo sticks work, if you don't know, it's like thick bamboo wood. And when you swing it, there's these little lines, grooves that go down the kendo stick. And when you swing it, the air kind of makes it open up a little bit. And then when it makes contact or whatever, it closes. So basically, like, it's pinching your skin on top of a gigantic smack across you. It's like pinching down on your skin, because if you ever, anybody who has ever come in contact with a kendo stick before, especially if you're a martial artist, like, you can you can feel it, and those things kind of move, like the grooves on it move and the pieces of wood around it moves. So yeah, they would beat the mess out of Dominic Mysterio, Rollins, and Murphy. And when I say he had like welts all over his body, front and back, no shirt on, they just beat the mess out of him. Next up, we have the storyline of, you know, the Street Profits and Andrade and Garza, and them facing each other at SummerSlam for the Raw Tag Team titles. And basically what's going on right now is they were having a match. Montez passed out, and WWE reported that it seems like he was poisoned or something like that. You know, these stories, the lines with wrestling are crazy. But yeah, so Montez is poisoned, so he was out. Everybody suspects that those guys did it, Vega and her associates, Andrade and Garza. So there were two matches pertaining around that storyline. Angelo Dawkins went off against Angel Garza. And they had a really good match. Sorry, not Angel Garza, Andrade. And they had a really good match. I haven't seen too much of singles wrestling from Dawkins, but he's a really good singles wrestler too. But they went off against each other. Dawkins won the match, and then Zelina Vega ended up having a match with Bianca Belair, because Bianca Belair was saying that Zelina Vega is the one who poisoned her husband, because Montez Ford and Bianca Belair are actually married in real life. So they had a match. They had a phenomenal match, to be honest with you. Like, I was very surprised. Not so much of Bianca Belair, because Bianca Belair is like one of the top women's wrestlers of today in any company, and she's a truly gifted athlete. Her and Charlotte Flair are like they are the two best pure athlete female wrestlers in WWE out of all the female wrestlers. But yeah, they went at it, Vega and Belair, and I was more surprised because I don't see Vega wrestle that much, but this is my first time really seeing her have a full-on, like, good wrestling match, and she surprised me. I knew she wasn't bad at wrestling, but she did her thing out there, and they had a really good match. So that was cool to watch. Belair won the match. Something that was funny that went on during that match was Angelo Dawkins, right? He was down at ringside. And then every time Zelina Vega was getting beat up in the corner by Bianca Belair, he was like, World Star, which was like kind of funny to me. But yeah, that storyline, I'm not too crazy about that storyline, to be honest with you, with the whole Montez got poisoned. But it's whatever. Let's see what happens at SummerSlam between these guys. Something else I want to mention that went on this week We have Retribution. Retribution is this unknown group that keeps coming to WWE. They keep causing chaos and breaking stuff and attacking wrestlers and stuff like that. Kind of reminds me of the Nexus, and I was a big fan of the Nexus. I wonder who all these wrestlers are. I'm not too sure who they are. It'll be interesting to see who they are and where they take the storyline. But each week, Retribution keeps coming out. This week on Raw, they came to Raw. They broke the front windows of the Performance Center, all that other stuff, and kept messing with the lights and the production of the show. Yeah, so it's interesting to see where they're gonna take the storyline and who is Retribution. If anybody wants to take some cracks at it and guess who they are, they can leave it in the comment section down below. Another thing that's an addition to Raw now is Raw Underground. So Raw Underground is basically WWE's Fight Club. It's like WWE's MMA, UFC match. It's a brainchild of Shane McMahon's apparently. It's cool to see Shane McMahon back. Shane McMahon created Raw Underground, and they had it's interesting to see because it adds another dynamic of just WWE and Raw. The only thing I don't like about it, like I like that they that it's pretty much like UFC without the cage and stuff like that, and there's less rules. The only thing I don't like about it seems too staged. Like they need to just let these guys fight. Like, and not when I say fight, they can pull their punches, right? They don't have to actually not, like, they should be used to their wrestlers, so they should be used to pulling the power back when they strike somebody. But it seems too staged, especially when they go to strike people. Like they need to just let the strike kind of loose a little bit more, where it actually looks like they're hitting them. Just maybe don't have your fist fully closed, or just pull the punches back where it makes a sound, but it's not hard, because they're wrestlers, they can take pain. And lastly, one of the big things in Raw this week, we have Randy Orton and the Ric Flair dynamic. So Ric Flair, the week before, he was kind of mouthing off at Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens decided that, oh, you know what, I'm going to show you, so I'm going to challenge Randy Orton. So Ric Flair kind of ran his mouth last week, got Randy Orton into a match with Kevin Owens that he didn't really want. Randy Orton, of course, won. They had a good match, but Randy, I'm going to tell you this, lately Randy's been cutting great promos, and the people he's been working with have been cutting great promos, whether it's Christian, Edge, Ric Flair. So that's pretty cool to see, because I feel like that's a dying art, is cutting a good promo. And Randy Orton cut a great promo. Randy Orton was telling Ric Flair, basically, you're riding my coattails, you're too old, you just like the limelight, you're putting me in situations that I don't need to be in because you're too overzealous and stuff like that. He was being very disrespectful to Ric Flair. Ric Flair started tearing up. Ric Flair was telling him, listen, man, like, we traveled the road up and down, and I just want to be there as your mentor, and I'm not trying to steal the limelight, but I want to be there to share it with you, and I want you, he told Randy Orton, which is like one of the best things he kind of said. He was like how he doesn't want John Cena to beat the 16-time world championship streak that Ric Flair built. He wants Randy Orton to beat it, which I second. Like, I'd rather see Triple H and Randy Orton beat the Ric Flair streak if anybody's gonna beat it. I mean, not streak, but title. The amount of titles that he won throughout his career. I don't necessarily feel like John Cena should even be on the same. I'm like, he does deserve to be up there, but he doesn't. I don't know. Like, to me, like, he doesn't deserve to beat it or even be at the same thing. Like, John Cena has done a lot in the business for the business, but I don't know, because it's a world championship, and I'm just like, I know it's the entertainment is with it, but like, I'm really big on the wrestling. And like, pound for pound, when you look at John Cena's wrestling, and when I say wrestling, I'm talking about wrestling, I'm not talking about entertaining the kids or like his character. And I'm not a big fan of John Cena's, like, I'm not dissing him, I'm just saying I'm not a big fan of him. He's not like my cup of tea. But when you match up Randy Orton's in-ring ability, skills, talents compared to John Cena's, Randy Orton is in a whole nother category. So for somebody like that, and it's wrestling, right? It's pro wrestling. So for somebody who is like they say it all the time, like, he's chiseled out of stone for this business. He is like bred for this business. And you have John Cena, somebody who's just like, just very strong. and he is good at entertaining. I'm not entertained by him, to be honest with you, but he's good at entertaining, especially for kids and stuff like that, compared to a man that can wrestle. And Randy Orton is entertaining too. Randy Orton can play a babyface, but he's one of the all-time greatest heels of all time. The dude is sadistic. But I feel like Randy Orton should be up there with Ric Flair, with tying the streak or beating it. But anyway, they had their little segment. Then Randy Orton, and people should know by now, never trust Randy Orton. But so Randy Orton hugged Ric Flair, and then what happened was Randy Orton dropped, low blowed him, and then he punted him in the head and ran out the ring. So Randy Orton kind of like, the Ric Flair Randy Orton dynamic is done. And then Drew McIntyre came out, and he was checking on Ric Flair, and he was, because Drew McIntyre is gonna go against Randy Orton at SummerSlam, so that kind of just adds to the match about Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre.